Hi again, it's Kirsten back, and I wanted to do a follow-up video on the one I did about the Love is Blind show that everybody is talking about, reviewing, and all the people are on the talk shows, and they did the reunion just less than a week ago. So I wanted to follow up on that and just give my thoughts from a marriage and family therapist perspective on how I think it went down and how I just view the experience overall, especially seeing the after a year and a half into the experiment, how they're all doing and what's come of it. So I'll just kind of break it down and how it happened. So we know that there were actually six couples. There were actually eight couples, but they only showed six. We're not going to talk about the other eight. I don't know why they didn't show those two. I know there's editing purposes that they need to break things down, but I heard they were kind of interesting. Anyway, out of the six that actually made it out of the pods, we know that Carlton and Diamond broke up before they even really got past, I think, a day or two of engagement. So they were all out of all the six couples. They were at the reunion. They did not reconcile. And I'll tell you my thoughts on that. So I mentioned that it looked like Carlton was projecting a lot of the shame he felt on who he was and not really coming to terms fully and process all of the trauma he'd been through because of being bisexual. He projected a lot of that on Diamond. So she didn't respond the way that she wanted him to, or he wanted her to, and she felt the wrath. She was shamed too. I don't know why America shamed her and called her biphobic or whatever it was, because I didn't see any of that. I think she responded better than a lot of females would have. She just wanted to fully talk things out and get a sense of, can she trust him, because he wasn't forthcoming before they got engaged. And so he reached out to Diamond after the experiment. It took her some time, of course, because there were a lot of things said. He called her a lot of bad words. She came out of her character after that. So neither one of them was proud of themselves, but it was a pretty traumatic experience for them both, and they needed some space, and especially Diamond. So Carlton reached out to her a few times, birthday, whatever, and she was finally able to get to the point where she can come to healing. And they did not see each other until the reunion, but they were able to process it and heal things. And I think Diamond handled that really well as could be expected. She was very classy. She was patient. She was compassionate, loving. I don't know what Carlton expected after that. I was kind of hoping that maybe they could talk about rekindling something, because he certainly wanted that to happen. But he was just so extra on the finale, and I don't know if he was playing it up for the cameras. If that's who he is, and that's how he acts in those situations, I think it's best if Diamond does keep her distance from him, because not only did he just not accept, I mean, he accepted her saying, I forgive you, let's move on from this. That should have been it. But he made this whole show of getting down on a knee with a ring and saying, I want to try this again as friends, and even more. Like, he wasn't even just saying, this is a friendship and this is a token of, that we've moved past this. No, he was saying, I'm hoping this is the start of something more. So putting her on the spot on TV after they had just seconds before healed some of the stuff that happened, and to say she's going to try some stuff, you could see that she thought it was uncomfortable. She didn't want to put on the ring, but she did, because, again, she doesn't want to embarrass either one of them any further and really bring any more attention to it. But the fact that he put her on the spot like that wasn't cool. And then I saw an interview with them after the fact where they were processing even more all that had gone down in the experiment. And he said something about, well, if you hadn't said such and such, then I wouldn't have done this. And so she was like, well, wait a minute, can we just touch on that a minute? Because I feel like you're blaming me again. I thought we had moved past this, and I feel like you're blaming me for you calling me these names. Well, I mean, and he just was all in his feelings, and again, blaming her. And so she said, you know what? I don't think, like, she didn't want to be friends with him. And I get it. He's not in a healthy place. I think he wants love with whomever who he connects with. And I want him to find that. I don't think it's with Diamond. I don't think he's ready. So there's that. I'm wishing Diamond the best. I wish that she finds love. I hope that she does. And I hope that she, again, keeps her distance from Carlton. I was about to say Kenny. So let me move on to Kenny and Kelly next. They didn't get married. She wasn't attracted to him. I still think they could have given it a shot, because she said in that reunion episode, Kenny had moved on. He found someone. He's dating. He's happy. He learned all the lessons he needed to in the experiment from Kelly and what happened. And he's in a relationship that he's very comfortable with and didn't even look at Kelly in a way that was longing or regret or any of that. He completely moved on. And Kelly, I don't know if she was so emotional because she was really falling apart emotionally. I don't know if it's because she was missing Kenny, and I don't think it was about missing him in particular. It was about seeing all this love around her because several couples were happy and in love. And she said at one point, I have friends on a lot of great guys that I actually could have been married to and possibly happy with. And everybody said in her family that she picks the wrong guys. So I don't know who she picks. She's picking guys that are probably little bad boys that challenge her, that are not safe emotionally. And that's really what she needs and probably what she wants deep down, but she's not ready to love herself enough to accept what's best for her. And so, I mean, I really felt like Kenny is in a much healthier place. He's a bit bland, but some people like that. And Kelly, um, I don't know if they would have made it work because you can't really force attraction. But I don't know if she really went for it further enough. She kept on talking herself out of, he's too nice, he's too good, he's too safe, he's too this, and I need more excitement. She was probably telling herself that. And that's not going to work for her ultimately. I think she's ultimately going to do best with someone who's a friend first, and hopefully there's attraction there. But if the attraction is first, then it's going to be hard for her to trust someone. For me, I think I've said before with my marriage, attraction was first, and then we built on that. I know a lot of people that are friends first, and they build on that. It really depends on, how your makeup is and what you ultimately want, which we don't always know going into these things. But looking at her, she really looks like she would thrive with someone that she feels emotionally safe with, which most of us would, especially her, and she doesn't realize it. So I wish them the best, but it's good that they didn't get married because I don't think that she's in a place, I don't think she's mature enough yet and loves herself enough yet to do so. I mean, when you think about all the couples that are single right now, I think those are the ones who have the most trouble loving themselves. Carlton certainly has trouble with it. I think Diamond's getting there. Kelly's not quite there. Let's move on to another couple that I think was just a train wreck from the beginning. And I'm glad they didn't spend too much time in them, and that's Mark and Jessica. This is sad to me because I wanted, like I said in my other show, my other video, that I wanted Mark to say at the altar, look, there's too much that happened. You weren't all in for me as I was for you. So let's just end it now. He didn't. He was all in. He still seems all in. Jessica ended it. And she's on the show, and she really did take her comeuppance and was humble and asking for forgiveness in a place that really seemed like she had grown, and it was painful. I could tell it was painful for her to watch herself back. And I think that she has learned a lot of lessons from that, harsh lessons that you don't want to have to learn that way with all of America watching, but she's learned them, and she apologized to the people she needed to. What concerned me is Mark still, if she had said, hey, Mark, let's try this again, he would have been right there. After everything that he saw go down, after the disrespect that she showed him, he would have been all in with her again. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't want to shade her, but I don't know what it is about her that drew him in so much. Certainly could be her voice. And again, she's an attractive woman, but she looks older than 34, quite frankly. She looks like she's lived a bit of a hard life. If she's not lying about her age, she could easily be 40 and it wouldn't surprise me. And I wish her the best. I just don't know if she knows herself enough to know what she wants. And I think that in some ways she loves herself, but in other ways she really doesn't. And that shows in the relationships and the men she chooses, and that she could not accept a love for Mark. And again, yeah, she's not attracted to him, but the same with Kelly. I think it's very similar. These are really good, solid, honest men that you can feel emotionally safe with. And I think they both go for types that are mysterious, that leave them wanting more and chasing for more emotional connection. And that's what they like, to chase the emotional connection. And they're not going to get it from guys like Mark and Kenny, who are there and probably considered boring in their mind, but that's ultimately what they're going to want and need. And I think they're going to remain single until they get more open to that aspect, and just stop chasing something that's not really good for anybody. So yeah, so the part at the end when Mark said, "Oh, you still haven't had your Italian beef," it was just cringeworthy, and it was sad that it showed that he really hadn't moved on. He would have taken her back in a second. And she uncomfortably said, "Oh, okay." It was just awkward. Okay, and I'm saving mine least to best. So next would be Giannini. I'll just call her Gigi, and Damon. I'm not surprised they got back together. A lot of people said they're surprised they got back together, but I do think ultimately they're a good match. And I think people are saying, well, they thought she was going to be the one to end it because she made the whole comment about he's not as good in bed. I don't think it was the fact that he wasn't good in bed. It's that she wants someone who's more forceful. And if he can show that, as well as some of the other qualities in a man that she's probably not used to, which is gentleness and patience and kindness, if he can balance and give her some of the excitement that she ultimately wants and has had in past relationships without the emotional safety, right? She's probably had men that go all in and fight with her, and they go away and they fight, and it's very unhealthy. That's what she's used to. But Damon's not going to do that. And so I think ultimately, I'm not surprised she wanted to get back to that, because it's a really good thing they have there. He's all in for her. He loves her to death. And I feel good about these two. I think that they could do well if they continue. Like, she seems like she's grown a lot. Like, hearing her on the show, she sounded really measured and articulate and calm. And looking at yourself on TV like this can really put a mirror on what your biggest faults are. It could be difficult to watch yourself back, and moments that you wish you could have handled differently, and you vow to yourself that you're going to in the future when you see the worst of yourself played out on national TV like that. So I wish them well. I feel like they're going to do well. Up next was what's his name? I'm not gonna call him Barnett. Matt and Amber. Again, they were my second favorite couple. I love them. I'm so happy they stayed together. I was a bit surprised because they're both like just want to be in charge. They both want to do their own things. I think they both have a hard time compromising. And it seemed like a lot of the base of their relationship was lust and not necessarily love. But I do see that there was a core of love there. We didn't get to see a lot of it in the pods. We didn't get to see the vulnerability as much as we probably could have, just to see the foundation they had there was really quite strong. But they have weathered quite a few strong storms. They've been through some stuff. She almost filed for divorce, she said, and they talked things out. And I think the reason that she almost filed for divorce is the stuff with Jessica. She saw what played out, and she didn't know what Jessica was doing with Matt, and she didn't know if she could trust him. She wanted him to have told her before. He didn't think it was as big a deal, and I don't think he's the type to articulate that stuff anyway. I'm surprised she didn't know that about him, that he would not automatically be forthcoming with that information. But they got through it. So if they're going to get through that, I think they could get through a lot. I think she's working now. I don't think he's carrying everything on his own. It really gets to be a good balance. The partners come into a marriage together knowing who's going to do what and why. And it could look whatever works for the couple is what works for them, but they have to go into it agreeing on it. And I didn't know if they did that in the beginning, but it looks like they found a good balance of who's going to do what. And they said they're going to have kids soon. I'm excited. I wish them the best. If I were to rate them, let me just rate the couples that are together now. Gigi and Damon, I would give them a B-, a C+. Not sure about that, but I hope so. Amber and Matt, I would give them a B+. I feel good about them working. But you can't be surprised with any of these rowdy couples, because when they're in the public eye like that, it can get messy, because there are a lot of people in there, and it's hard for you to really have your own voice and not let the outside chatter get in the way. Let's get to everybody's favorite couple, which is Lauren and Cameron. Now, they have been on the circuit more than anybody else. They have been making the rounds on the talk shows. They have started their own YouTube channel called Hanging with the Hamiltons, which I'm subscribed to. They're really taking advantage and riding this fame train that they're on for all it's worth. I applaud that. I think, hey, if, she's a content creator in any way, so this is right up her alley. She's also a singer. I saw some of her videos. She's really good. But they're going to ride this as probably as long as they could, or as long as it's healthy for them is the key word, as long as it's healthy for them. They're talking about maybe doing a reality show, good for them. There could be some problems there because a lot of couples that do that, they tend to fall apart because you're under a microscope. Everybody is involved in that, and it's at an even higher level than it has been now. So you have to be really, really strong and ultra compatible to weather that. If anybody could, it would be them because they had the most organic, natural connection going into this. If anybody had the strongest foundation to handle this, I would give them the strongest chance to be able to get involved in reality TV and social media and that high level and stay strong and grounded and focus on each other and not let the outside voices influence who they are, what they want from each other. So they were talking about how they're going strong. It didn't seem to be like there were any problems with them. They bought a puppy in preparation for a real baby. So they're also thinking about adding to their family too. It was beautiful to see them crying together. Other people cried, but they're the only ones I think who really cried out of happiness of what they found with each other. And Cameron was talking about the love he felt for Lauren and how it's echoed with her father. They have a really strong relationship. Lauren was talking about how the families all got together. And she didn't say it like this, but you could imagine just, mixing up the cultures, learning from each other in a beautiful way where there's no judgment, no seeing the differences and focusing on the differences they have on the surface, that everybody's just connecting with their personalities and what they love. And it has nothing to do with the color of their skin, but they're learning from each other based on their cultures. And that's the best that can happen. This really seems like it's an ideal situation. So what I would rate them is an A, just a strong, solid A, not an A plus, not an A minus. The only reason it's not an A plus is because they are thinking about going into reality TV and there's going to be some challenges. And sometimes I see that, they're yin and yang, which is a good thing, just like Amber and Barnett and really Gigi and Damon. All of them are kind of opposites attracting, right? So with Cameron and Lauren, she's the more high energy one, he's more calm. Sometimes I feel like it could happen where her energy could be too much for him and his calmness could be a drain on her. They really, hopefully, really appreciate that about each other and it doesn't become an annoyance. And they recognize that that is what makes them a really good combination and balances out, which is kind of what happens with Johnny and me. It balances them out. They bring their best into the relationship and it's completely different, but that's what makes it extraordinary. So that's the only thing, that too much in the limelight and out front could be a burden. And I want them to take some time for themselves. I want all the couples to do that and not stay out in the forefront of the media. Like, do the rounds now because everything's happening, everybody's talking about it. But in a little bit, just take time for yourselves. And maybe I think do a reality show in another year. Just give yourself some time. I know people say, well, the favorite of them is going to die down by then, but I don't think it will. I think people will be excited at whatever point, if they keep their YouTube channel going, and then maybe in a few months to a year, if they see about starting an actual reality show, maybe that's when they'll have a kid. All that could be a part of it, but just give themselves some more time by themselves without everybody weighing in and offering their opinion on this. So that's my opinions on the reunion. Just as a side note, I saw the Bachelor finale. Whew, that was interesting as well, but you didn't come here for that, so I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, love you guys. I am going to do more videos on relationships. I haven't done one about children in a while, but I'm going to go back to that in probably my next video. Always like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. And remember, life is now.